Example 2, find the area between the following curves. X equals -2, which is a vertical line. X equals 1, which is a vertical line. Y equals x cubed plus 1, that's a cubic function, looks kind of like that. And y equals 0 is the x-axis. So I'll give you the graph of the function. And what they're asking us for is this area that's bound in here and in here. Okay, and I'll shade it in for you so you know what you're looking for. We know that this is x equals -2. And we know that this is x equals 1. But we don't know where it switches over here. You've got to be really careful. This is in two parts. Area 1, area 2. First, find where the two functions are equal. So, where is x cubed plus 1 equal to 0? So that's when x cubed is equal to -1. So x is the cube root of -1, which is -1. So this happens at -1. So area 1 is going to go from -2 to -1. And look, the zero's on the top. So we've got to be really careful here. 0 minus x cubed plus 1 dx. Plus area 2 starts at -1 and goes to 1. This time, x cubed plus 1 is on the top minus 0. And that's the one where we can just do x cubed plus 1 dx. Now this one, we got to be really careful. This is a little tricky, so got to pay attention. This is going to be minus x cubed minus 1 dx. And then we're going to add those two areas together. So again, we have to look for this point right here. That's where the two functions are equal to each other. One being the x-axis, which is y equals 0, and the other being this cubic curve. Okay, and you'll notice that they change places. The x-axis is above the cubic curve between -2 and -1, but between -1 and 1, the cubic curve is above the x-axis. So you've got to be careful about that. Okay, so we're going to integrate now. So this is going to be -x to the 4th over 4. So we're going to add 1 divided by it. Minus x. This whole thing is evaluated. -1, -2, plus x to the 4th over 4 plus x. And this time, this is evaluated -1 to 1. So got to be careful here. So let's see. We're going to get, be careful. I'm going to go in here first and put my parentheses. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a -1 and a -1 there. And then it's going to be minus, remember you minus the bottom one, -2 to the 4th over 4 minus a -2. Now this is going to be plus. This plus comes from this plus sign here. That's going to be 1 to the 4th over 4. I don't really need the parentheses when it's positive. Minus -1 to the 4th over 4 plus -1. So signs will kill you. Total up your negative signs. You've got 4 of them here and 1 here, so this is going to be negative. So this is going to be negative 1 over 4 plus 1 minus, well, look, again, I've got 4 negatives here and another one, so that's a fifth, so it's going to be negative. And 2 to the 4th is 16 over 4. If you're not careful, you'll do a negative, negative there, make it a positive. But you've got 5 negative signs. 4 from the exponent and 1 on the outside. And then that's plus 2. Plus next thing I get is 1 to the 4th over 4. So that's a 1/4. Plus 1. Minus, well, that's going to be a 1/4 and a minus 1. Because here we've got negative 1 to the 4th, that's a positive 1. Okay. So let me simplify this just a little bit, then use the calculator. So negative 1/4 plus 1 minus negative 4 plus 2 plus 1/4 plus 1, and here I got to be careful, it's minus 1/4 minus 1. So it's negative 1/4 plus 1, now look, negative outside, plus 4 minus 2, plus 1/4 plus 1, minus 1/4 plus 1. So I see a few things will cancel out, might save me a little bit of time. I see a negative 1/4 and a positive 1/4. I see, let's see, 5 minus 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so that's going to be 5 minus 1/4. So that's going to be 4.4 3/4. Or 4.75, and then pay attention. Do they want the exact, the decimal? Whole number would be 5. If they said round it to the nearest whole number, it would be a 5. And to 1 decimal place, it would be 4.8. So pay attention to the rounding. So the important thing about this one is that it's switching over, and in one case, one function's on top, and in the other case, the other function's on the top. So you've got to do the integral from a to b, whatever those x values are, top function minus bottom function. Have to know where it changes over. Now, the way to know that is where you set them equal to each other. But you also will have the graph, and that will help you some, but you still are going to have to know to find that point where they change over.